had that night, or that's just what you did?
Typically, I think we had Bud Light.
And if you know, approximately how many beers or how many drinks did you have over the course of your time in CFP Park?
I don't.
As far as yourself versus Mr. O'Keefe, you recall sort of in relation to each other how much you each had to drink?
No, maybe 6 beers.
And what I'm asking, sir, is did one of you have 10 and one of you had 2, or was it sort of commensurate with each other?
Commensurate, one for one of them.
So essentially you're buying rounds as you go along?
Correct.
Now, from your time at CF McCarthy's, how would you describe sort of the tone of sort of the demeanor within the group?
Pretty good.
So no arguments, no fighting, anything like that?
No.
And just briefly going back to the clothing that you observed, Mr. O'Keefe, wearing this that you called him wearing that night, what if any damage or tears or anything like that did you know?
I did not see it.
This gentleman, if I could ask you just to slow this down and go to the third video. And this gentleman, if I could direct your attention to the 6-minute, 10-second mark through the 7th. Yeah, 6:10. Now, this camera, I'm directing your attention to the screen, if you could, from the parties that were within your group sort of that night at the bar. If you could just direct your jury's attention to who's who, if anyone you recognize.
Kurt?
So in addition to yourself and Mr. O'Keefe, Mr. Roberts has now joined the group.
Correct.
And Ms. Gilman, if you could just play it.
Morning, Claiborne.
Now, with reference to Mr. Roberts, was he a beer drinker as well?
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
Severe thunderstorms?
All that night, same sort of thing that yourself and Mr. O'Keefe were having.
Correct.
And somewhere to pause
Yeah.
at this point in the video, if anyone else you recognize.
We got most of it last night.
Coming to join you.
Karen Reed.
And so from this, is this about the time that she entered the establishment or came into the
Yes.
Now, with reference to Ms. Reed, what, if anything, do you recall her drinking during your time in your book at CF McCarthy's?
She was drinking out of a glass.
And if you know, what if anything did you observe as far as the color of what was in the glass?
It was clear.
And beyond sort of the clear liquid in the glass, what, if anything else, did you observe in the glass as far as the straw, anything like that?
A straw, maybe.
And what, if anything?
Was there ice in the glass? This is so stupid.
I didn't.
As far as you can tell, what was it?
Vodka?
Is that something that Ms. Reed was drinking? We've been out with on fire.
That's crazy.
Yes.
Now, I'm sorry to check back and forth.
It's like hurricane force winds there.
Gilman, from this same third video, exhibit of the CF McCarthy's, if I could ask you to forward to the 14-minute mark. could, I would ask that you play this from the 14-minute mark until about 14 minutes and 15 seconds. Just about 15 seconds. Cameron, you indicated that your son was at elementary school for a play of some sort, is that correct?
He was for a little bit.
And from there, where, if anywhere else, did you go there?
He went to a friend's house to skate in his backyard.
Skate as far as just skating or what, if anything else?
He was skating. A little party.
Well, let me ask you, is he a hockey player?
Yes, he's a hockey player.
So when you say skating?
Skating, yes. Makeshift hockey rink in somebody's backyard.
And at some point with relation to that, what if anything sort of caused you to leave the apartment?
I received a phone call that my son was hit in the face with a hockey stick and he lost his tooth.
And so upon receiving that call, where did you go?
I went to go get him.
And do you recall about what time that was that you left C.F. McCarthy's to go with?
I don't recall.
Now, from the group that you were with, as far as yourself, Mr. O'Keefe, Ms. Reed, and Mr. Roberts, who, if anyone, left first?
I believe Kurt.
And do you recall sort of how it was that Kurt left?
Kurt just got up and left.
So, sort of an Irish goodbye?
Yeah, Irish goodbye, yes.
Is that something he's known for?
Yes.
And about when was that in relation to when you...
Not too soon after.
I'm sorry, not too soon after or not too soon before? If I could ask you to forward it to about 19 minutes and 40 seconds. Mr. Cameron, from your looking at the surveillance video here, from your memory of that time, you see Mr. O'Keefe speaking to another gentleman, is that correct?
Yes.
You know who that person is?
Yes.
And who is that?
Sully?
And do you know his first name or anything beyond Miss Sully?
Sully, I don't know his first name.
And how is it that you know him?
Kids play baseball with his son.
So in addition to your son playing baseball with Mr. O'Keefe's nephew, Mr. Roberts, was he of a son member around the same age?
Correct.
My own blood.
And this individual
Look at
Sully
mosquitoes.
is a child that plays baseball with three of your kids.
Correct.
Is that someone that you had contacted to meet there, or just happened?
He just happened to be there.
Ms. Gilman, if you could just play again and just run about the 3-minute marks. Now, Ms. Gilman, if you could move that forward again to 24 minutes and 10 seconds.
I'll be right back, guys. Guy.
And if you could just let this run until about 24 minutes and 20 seconds to just about 10 seconds. And so, Mr. Camarado, did you see yourself in that portion of the video?
Yes.
And you know what you were doing at that time?
Leaving.
And so prior to leaving, had you sort of settled up a tab or something?
Yes, I picked up the tab.
And then you left and went to get your son, correct?
Correct.
Ms. Gilman, you can take that down. Now, Mr. Camarano, you left there and went to pick up your son, is that correct?
Yes.
And following picking up your son, where did you go?
Back to John's house.
And why did you go back to John's house at that?
My daughter was there picking her up.
You went to pick up your daughter?
Correct.
And you recall approximately what time that was?
11.
And when you came back to the residence of One Meadows, you parked in the driveway again?
Correct.
And did you physically sort of go in the house to pick up your son?
No, I did not.
Now, as far as from the time that you left with Mr. O'Keefe to go to see McCarthy's versus the time that you came back, anything changed as far as position of Mr. O'Keefe's car?
No.
What, if anything, did you note as far as the garage doors were concerned, or any damage or anything like that?
Everything looked normal.
And Your Honor, with the court's permission, I would seek to just publish another video or two from Exhibit 6.
Okay.
Bless you. And at this time, Ms. Kilman, if I could have from the driveway again, video 152. Ms. Kilman, you can stop. Now, from that video of 152, there was just so can you describe for the jury just as sort of what was going on in that video?
I was picking up my daughter, Madeline, and my son, Michael, was with me. Yes, all three of us.
Mouse.
And where did you go from there?
Home.
And, when you got home, well, let me ask you this first. When it's hot,
But basically stealing from people, scamming people, you know?
I wish I was scallywagging on the internet a long time ago versus just playing with my dick, you know what I mean?
Yeah. They're just coming back from school. Run, kids, run.
I didn't mean to cough in y'all's space.
Is it 4 o'clock, is it? My goodness. So yeah, it's been a hectic day anyway, that's for sure. You know?
How is she even a producer when she doesn't do anything? I think when they say producer, I mean, I think they mean it in like a grifting kind of way, like producer.
Yeah. Oh really?
You
I
know?
keep a lot of fish as well, yeah. Oh really? Yeah, I've loads of fish myself. Oh yeah.
Mods? Yeah, mods are. I learned mods the tough way. I learned that it's best that the only person that should be moderating is me.
Luke, you can hit me up anytime, man, on Discord or whatever.
AKA Genghis Bow.
No problem. Yeah, it's after hurting a lot of people, this.
Right, guys?
To be having to come out here because we asked, well, I say somebody asked me questions about it and wanted to clarify everything the other day.
It's a little windy. It's okay. You're doing good.
Slide through his teeth,
You're bringing us
lied
good
even
content.
more, and here we are. You know, that's the only reason I'm here, because he lied. Time
Hell
and
yeah.
time again, and it's awful. It's really awful.
It is, man. And you should be there. He has the right to be
I
there.
suppose I better get going because I have to get a flight back to Ireland now.
Oh, man.
I'll see you again though. Cork. down the very south. Yeah.
Oh man, you should stay. Just wait for him to come outside.
Oh, up the north.
Retrials
yeah,
and
lovely.
Snoof Fest. Yeah.
Very nice. More fighters.
She's gonna get convicted, man.
That's so cool. I love that.
They're gonna tiger kick her. And when she gets convicted, everyone's gonna just be like, but they can't do anything about it. Like there's nothing they can do about it.
I gotta go back to the house now.
Like if they would have done something about it, they would have done something about it. I mean, she's not even doing anything about it. She's
The part that I need for out at Green Springs just got delivered at the house. I gotta go all the way back to the house real quick.
Chihuahuas, so I know that feeling. They can get a bit yucky.
Fuck.
Right. Well, anyway, I better get going, ladies. Thank you so much for the chat. I think Dan's probably.
Fuck.
Made people resistive. And what do you expect?
Definitely resistant. So Chris has a choice to make. He is either an idiot or an accomplice. He has to choose one of those two things. He's an idiot and doesn't know how to do his job, so he didn't know about it, or he did know about it and he was an accomplice. And he's an accomplice because he hated Donald Trump so much that he had to do something to make him look bad. Let's not act like this is just on Joe Rogan.
Right.
This was all targeted at Donald Trump with a roaring economy, thinking this is our ticket to get him out of office. If he mishandled this in any way possible, we are going to make hay out of it and he's going to be gone. That's what was happening. They put your life on the line to make sure that Donald Trump couldn't win an election. That was it. So, Chris, pick a lane. Idiot or accomplice, let us know.
By the way, it's the same exact network that covered the Vox apocalypse. Hey, the only reason that we survived here after being demonetized was because there are more of you than them. Than them, I mean CNN, viewers. And I know you don't have a tough act.
Yeah, maybe.
As far as
I gotta go all the way up to Green Springs after
the only
Monroe.
reason that Joe Rogan's
lots of
entire
traveling
career
today.
wasn't destroyed is because at that you, and I know that this will result in some kind of drama where he'll be like, I want to have you on the show. Look, I don't think that Chris Cuomo's a bad guy. If he wants to come on this program, fine. I don't think he's a bad guy. If he is willing to admit, all right, okay, the information was available, and either he was a lazy journalist or took part actively in the suppression of that information, fine. But you've got to start these conversations on good faith and saying, we didn't know, I know now. No, we did. That's history will judge you based on the information that was available, but you actively ignored or suppressed. And CNN and Chris Cuomo's show and Don, they were the worst offenders.
Yeah.
They were the worst offenders. People can change. I believe it. People can change. But you have to choose to change. And we, many times, have almost lost everything here. We're supported by viewers like you. We're not supported by being on airport televisions through mandate. None of it happens without you. Please do consider joining Mug Club. It's Military Appreciation Month. So you enter in the promo code military, you get $10 off and 10% of the proceeds go to military charities, as well as a full additional hour of show each day. Nick DiPaolo's show. They have a whole lineup of people, the investigative journalism unit. None of it happens without you, and we are gearing up for a big election.
Join now or you're gay in the military. We allow that now, right?
Yeah, don't ask, don't tell.
There's a lot of don't telling.
Yeah, I think so. There's a lot of don't. I've seen
Some don't ask
the
you as
village
well,
people.
so-
I don't know a whole lot about the Navy, but I can guess. So it's time to move on really quickly. Yesterday, Vladimir Putin won every election ever. Russian. All right. Vladimir Putin.
Tim loves that. That's like probably his favorite singer.
That's pretty funny.
I like that.
There was the inauguration yesterday for an unprecedented, some could say. Oh, no, wait, it is fifth term. He won the election with 87% of the vote, and apparently...
Why do you even do it? Why? You spend money on voting. Why even do it?
Well, apparently there was a little bit of a gap where he had 85% approval rating in the public. Now, let me tell you, do a lot of people say, I approve, because they're afraid of, having their throat slit or being sent to the gulags? Sure, probably. Do I think that a surprising number of the Russian, surprising percentage of the Russian people probably do support Putin? I think it might surprise you. And a big reason for that is kind of to compare it to World War II. This was post-World War I. You had the Treaty of Versailles. The Germans felt browbeaten, right? They felt like, hey, we can't be the world's whipping post forever. Russians felt that way. And I think they probably know who Putin is, right? It's the devil you know. But they'd rather have what they view as a strong man in charge. So this is all a sham, of course. And a lot of Russians would say, look at your own election system. To them, I would say, touche.
Fair point.
And this is a clip that I have not seen.
Oh, yeah. You're going to love it.
I guess in attendance for Putin's inauguration, Putin the fraud was another fraud, Steven Seagal.
The symbolism here is key. Held inside the throne room of the Tsars, this was a projection of power. Among the audience were pop stars, sports stars, and religious leaders.
That was resting
Even
dictator
a
face.
former Hollywood action hero.
Why do you support Vladimir Putin, Mr. Seagal?
I can't answer a question that's that stupid. Yeah, sorry.
Why is it a stupid question? It's just an open question.
I think it's pretty stupid, and I think you know the answer.
Can it be found underneath that putting green on your forehead?
I don't answer questions that stupid because I'm a fighter.
Really? How many professional fights have you been in?
That's a stupid question.
Why
I
is
think
that?
you know the answer to that.
Is the answer 0?
Why are you being so dumb?
Are you black?
I was for a period of time when I had to market myself that way, but then I was also Italian, and I was also Native American. Japanese, of course. I'm also Jewish, and I killed someone's puppy when I faked being a policeman and ran a tank through their north wall. That actually happened. You can find the
I wish you would ask me a better question, like about my goatee.
Yeah, why is he there? Yeah, I guarantee you he would answer, never heard of them if you asked him about hair plugs.
Chia Pets got their hair from him.
Yes. It's just, and here's the thing, we bought this as a kid.
Yes.
Let me ask you this.
I did too.
Question to you. Did you believe in Steven Seagal at one point? Like, that he was an actual, like, fighter, like a tough guy?
It was Jean-Claude Van Damme or him. Like, the argument was who would win in a fight.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, Steven Seagal, for sure. I mean, Jean-Claude's pretty cool and all, and he can do splits, but Steven Seagal slaps himself like no other.
Yeah. Here's the joke. Well, no, he's not Superman.
So much. He changed the rules of the game.
He can look.
He grew into his face too, by the way. I don't know if you remember those old movies, but he had a giant face. Look at that thing, dude. He really grew into it. I gotta say, he's in his prime form right now. That's where he's supposed to be. This was God's plan. He was meant to look like a fat, stupid idiot.
You say hair plugs. I say God bless me like Benjamin Button. I had less hair when I was young, more hair when I'm older. I don't know the science. But that's the way it works out.
So there's hope for me?
The hair gives me balance when I use my katana.
That's right. I cut it off on accident. Look, when people ask me stupid questions, bad things happen.
Like what? You make another straight-to-DVD release exclusively for Russia that's dubbed because you're too lazy to show up to the audio recording booth?
That's correct. Yes. Nailed it.
Steven Seagal. Remember you on Pierce Morgan's show? Anyone ever try and test you at a bar?
Sometime.
And yeah, how does that go down?
Bad things happen.
What, like you crap yourself?
I leave alone.
Yes. Yeah. He's ordering one of those sexually charged drinks.
Yeah.
No, hold the sex on the beach. I'll have the stroke my nipples by myself in the bar. Make it a double.
Steven Seagal attending the show. Attending anything. Look, it's a sham. It is.
Be right back.
It's just charlatanry, if that's a word. Just as much as the guy in India who was trying to sell you on the idea of drinking cow piss. So it turns out there's more validity to that, and it's picked up steam.
Drink cow piss before a job interview.
All right, let's send in the next audition. Who the fuck was that guy?
Get pissed before playing sports. Cow piss helps you think straight.
And check.
Well, I just really want to wear a camel costume for Hump Day.
Oh, well, here, take a sip of this piss.
Yeah?
Yeah.
This piss really harms.
Get pissed.
This is good for all the peoples. Drink it and you will get pissed.
Look, I'm going to acknowledge that unless you have watched the show for the last several weeks, that is probably horrifying.
Or tempting.
Yeah. And if you have watched the show, it is still horrifying, but at least it's understandable. Understandable also is something that we should all know. You know, going out supporting live comedy is a big deal right now, especially in the era of cancel culture. Nick DiPaolo is probably the most canceled comedian of all time. Saturday, May 11th, he's going to be in Red Bank, New Jersey. You can see all of his tour dates at nickdip.com. I've never laughed harder than seeing Nick DiPaolo perform. So he's that guy, and he's the guy who looms in the shadows, who everyone else fears. You don't want to follow him. He's that funny.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to move on here too, and we have Figueiredo and Bolsonaro appearing here in a little bit. They're going to be calling in. Stormy Daniels. You know what? Before we get to Stormy Daniels, this is just really in the last 48 hours. All of the cases against Donald Trump are falling apart. So you've got the classified documents case that's been suspended indefinitely for really potential evidence tampering. That's the primary reason. The January 6th case is not going to happen before the election. And actually, I guess this is just breaking out this morning. We were trying to confirm it, that the court granted the appeal of Fannie's disqualification ruling.
So that's going to take a little while.
All right.
Georgia, gone.
That's Georgia, that's right.
York,
January 6th gone. Classified documents pretty much gone or suspended indefinitely. Georgia gone. And Stormy Daniels, who will take the stand again today.
Or tomorrow. I don't know if they're taking a day off.
Oh, that's right. They may be taking it off. She's the only person to take the stand on her back. Basically admitted to extortion yesterday. Okay? That's really what happened. There are some details that you probably think you know. This is not about Donald Trump sleeping with an ex-pornography star. This is an accounting issue. All right? But let's just set this up. And you can comment right now if you knew that. To think it's about embarrass the guy. I don't think anybody cares. But she testified yesterday, this hush money case, and apparently Trump got a little heated. But more importantly, do you want to know that this is political persecution? I don't know if you look up the history of law. Not one person has ever been held in contempt or gone to
Hey, Chopper.
prison.
Thanks a lot, buddy. I appreciate your love.
I want to read this part.
Hey, we're at 600 on the main channel. This one only has about 80.
This is the sidebar between Mershon and Todd Blanche at some point that happens. You guys don't hear this, right? Right. Okay, so we're getting this later. I understand your client is upset at this point, Judge Mershon, but he is cursing. But he is cursing audibly, and he is shaking his head visually, and that's contemptuous. It is the potential to intimidate the witness, and the jury can see that. Mr. Blanche, I will talk to
The court is Judge Merchant.
So I'm speaking to you here at the bench because I don't want to embarrass him. Mr. Blanche, I will talk to him. The court, you need to speak to him. I won't tolerate that. Mr. Blanche, I will talk to him.
Think about this. This is intolerable. Now, you shouldn't be doing this all the time. That means you probably have Parkinson's. Get it checked. But this, when a lying whore, by her own admission, takes the stand to do lying whore things, not all women are lying whores, to be clear. This is not what I'm saying. I'm saying that Stormy Daniels is a lying whore.
Yes.
Why am I saying she's a liar? Because she admitted to being a liar. Why am I saying she's a whore? Because she was paid to have sex for money. I get the technicality that there was a camera present, so she's technically not a whore, but I'm more traditional.
Your job to finish it, right, Chopper?
I think this, maybe even a little mutter, is fine. Certainly don't think it's a crime, but let's go through some of the facts of why President Trump may have been nodding or shaking his head. All right, key facts one. There was absolutely no reason for Stormy Daniels to testify yesterday.
This is an entirely unnecessary witness. It is uncontested that there's an NDA. Whether what happened in their relationship, if there was one, is immaterial to how those payments were denoted by the Trump campaign.
Okay, This is an
Actually,
about money paid to Stormy.
the bigger channel is retracting a little bit. It does that. It'll take like an 18-person sub leap and then 5 back.
There's no reason,
but that's
for it.
normal.
And
I
whatever
haven't been
details
doing
she
any
knows
actual
about their sexual encounter are completely
cop
irrelevant
watching,
to
so
this. The media may not act as
probably
though
going to be
that's
doing that
true,
this
but it is.
weekend unless
Why?
I'm
Stormy
looking
Daniels
for a
already
job.
admitted that the affair never happened multiple times. She was previously ordered to pay Trump's legal fees because she lost. She sued him for defamation. Basically, it was a money shakedown scheme. Yeah. And she said that she would rather go to jail than pay those fines, that she would defy the court orders. This is someone who said the affair didn't happen. This is someone who lost in court in a way that is incredibly consequential. And she said, I'm not going to obey the court. And then yesterday in court effectively admitted that this is actively extortion. Here's what she even said. I'm not denying this affair because I was paid hush money. She said, I'm denying this affair because it never happened. And she lists, which dates does she list in that?
So pull it back up and I'll read them for you. So 2006, 2011. So in the future, she also didn't sleep with Trump. 2016, 2017, and now again in 2018. So she denied the affair at least 5 times. Once in the future, she had a DeLorean. And then she comes back and denies it again and again and again and again. And it says, by the way, pull that back up. This is the one thing that she does this letter, and then at the end she says, I will have no further comment on this matter, but please feel free to check out my Instagram.
Yeah. She denied it more than John.
She put that in there because she's like, this is the grip she's on. She's writing books about this. She's trying to cash checks on this. She's checking my Instagram out with this statement that she was releasing. She's just self-promoting. That's all this is. This is Stormy Daniels doing what she has always done.
The Rooster Crow wasn't John.
Who was it?
The Rooster... What? You said he denied it more than John. I think he means...
Oh.
He's Peter.
Is it Peter who denied Jesus Christ 3 times?
People just flying through the crosswalk and the lights are blinking.
Let's not conflate with our Lord. That's not what you're doing. I was just because someone's gonna be like, "That's not John." Look, it was a joke. Peter, it was a joke.
Got it wrong.
Let's get back to the Longhorn. Okay. Here's the other fact: the media wants you to focus on something that does not matter. It could not matter less. I'm just going to present you with my opinion here. She wants to get on the stand and embarrass him. That was the plan all along, right? To try and reveal some private details regarding a sexual encounter with Donald Trump.
I gotta make a couple phone calls real quick.
I'm honestly right. I don't believe it happened. I know that Donald Trump has had affairs in the past. I get that. It's not lost on me. I think that maybe there was some flirting, but I'm 60-40. He never slept with Stormy Daniels at this point. My mind has changed on that. You comment below if you're in that same camp, just because the motivations are so dark. And dishonest from Daniels by her own admission. So when she tried to reveal some sexual here's the thing too, it's not even bad. It's really like let me the one that the media has picked up on. Okay, she said that she spanked Trump with a magazine that in which he was like the person on the cover. Here's the quote from the transcription. Daniels said someone should spank you with that. Daniels then said Trump rolled up the magazine and handed it to her, daring her to spank him. So I took it from him and said, turn around, and swatted him.
That's actually kind of funny. I mean, that's kind of a power move. He's like, hey, pick up the Time magazine with my face on.
Yes.
It's like, come on.
Really? That's like, so hold on a second. The scandal here is you spanked him with the magazine playfully after you suggested it? That's not even weird or perverted.
Right.
That's like along the lines of a sexual fetish of sexy flight attendant outfit. Everyone likes the sexy flight attendant outfit.
Look, if he crapped on the floor and you put his face in it and
Fucking idiot. Nice fucking signal.
Hello.
Hey.
Hi.
Ugh, our fucking dogs, I swear to God.
I know, they're ruthless, aren't they?
What do you mean?
The dogs?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just ruthless. There's all the time. What'd they do now?
Well, I noticed this morning as I was getting ready that the new access point was going to be delivered to the house. So I stayed a little bit longer than I normally do before leaving, and it still hadn't come, and it shows that it didn't even show that it was out for delivery yet through UPS. So I'm like, well, I can't stay forever. So boom, I stop at Speedway, grab a big gulp iced tea, and get back in the car and get ready to head down Monroe. I'm thinking, fuck, I'm gonna have to drive all the way back to the house, pick it up, and then drive out to Green Springs, you know?
Yeah.
Well, while I'm there, the Ring camera goes off. I'm like, oh, and I check, yep, it's UPS. I'm like, sweet. Like, I didn't get that far. I'm just gonna drive home, pick it up. That way I'll have it already. Get to the house. The screen right above the love seat is knocked out.
Oh, God.
I immediately walk up, put the screen back in, and then I wasn't even going to go inside, but open the garage, go inside, look around. Of course, Scotty's the hardest one to find, but they're all in there. So found they didn't understand why they were being yelled at, but it made me feel better. And I literally, the windows are like cracked like 3 inches now.
Right.
I'm like, fuck this, you guys will just burn up. It's supposed to get in the high 70s today, so.
I know.
And then while I'm in the bathroom, fucking the tech that's supposed to be out there to fix the tech computer, the Lenovo tech, or the contractor or whatever that's supposed to be out there fixing the, Lenovo computer, calls me. He's like, hey, I should be out there sometime between, noon and 5. I said, that's cool. He's like, you already have the equipment, right? I'm like, I don't know, man. I said, it's supposed to get mailed there. I said, did you get a tracking number when you picked up the job? I used to,
Yeah.
So while he's on the phone, when he hits the tracking number, he's like, oh my God, it's still in Cleveland. I'm like, yeah, sorry. He's like, well, why did they schedule it for today? I'm like, I don't know. They scheduled it thinking it would be here. I don't know. He's like, well, if it doesn't get there by the time I get done in Mansfield and then start heading up there. I said, okay, where are you going from where to Mansfield? And he's like Canton area. I'm like, dude, it's going to be 4 o'clock before you get to the fucking center. He's like, well, I'm not going to leave Mansfield if it hasn't been delivered yet. I said, I don't care what you do, dude. I said, this is your job. I said, if you want to reschedule it, go ahead. I don't care. I was like, I've washed my hands of that fucking computer. I said, once the warranty is on it, it's on the warranty, So he's like, yeah, that's cool. He's like, well, if I do come out Friday, is it the same routine? I'm like, yeah, I'm probably not going to be there. I may, but I'm probably not going to be there. I said, just let me know when you get there, and I'll have somebody escort you to the computer. I said, it's a medical facility. I said, I said, if you come before what, I don't know, I said 4 o'clock, because I don't know what time Carol's done there. I said, the receptionist will greet you, and she'll walk you in. Fucking idiots. So now finally, it's now approaching 475 to head north, head to Monroe.
Oh, jeez.
I'll get there by 11:40 without delays. But yeah, I just want to let you know that the dog's fucking knocking out windows, and good thing I decided to. At first I was like, yeah, you know what? I'll just swing by and get it afterwards. I know it's there now. I'm glad I went back to get it. It because given enough time, they might have gotten curious and been outside.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So, all right. Well, you have a good day.
All right. Thanks. You too.
Smack that turd face in the butt for me.
Yeah, he's getting all the attention. Miss June and Stacy and.
No, I know Miss June. I don't know the others. So. Has anybody tried using SR fax yet?
Oh, I have no idea.
Okay. Well, that's delinquent now too.
Lovely.
And I told Cammie about it this morning. She's like, I'll get back to you. I'm like, yeah, you said that yesterday, bitch. I mean, I literally have email renewals at like $1,500 worth of email because we hired a ton of people in May.
Yeah, May and June.
Yeah, all those emails are coming due. And they're, you know, the first year is cheap at $120. After that, it's like $230 per email for the year.
Right.
You know, maybe I should try and find a cheaper route than GoDaddy, but still, it's, you know, they use GoDaddy for everything. I was referred to use that because they were using that for the nursing homes, you know. I honestly don't think every tech at fucking Maple Heights needs an email.
Right.
They don't fucking use them. But then again, we'd still have to add all their personal emails into Teams, so it would still be a nightmare. Even though they don't even use Teams.
Yeah, they only have like 2 Teams threads.
Do they use them though?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, have a good day. Loves ya. Be careful coming home.
All right. Yep, love you.
Bye.
All right.
Daniels' credibility, right? She admitted under oath that she hates Trump, that she would never pay the money she owes Trump by law, and that she wanted to see him in jail. Even CNN, they were pre-gaming for this trial for days, right? They're like, oh, we're gonna get to hear about Donald Trump's weird sex stuff. Stormy Daniels, not the hero we need, but the whore we deserve. They had. Quick, flash the snatch symbol. They admitted. All right, this is pretty bad.
But the cross-exam, boy, her responses were disastrous. I mean, do you hate Donald Trump? Yes, of course she does. That's a big deal. When the witness hates the person whose liberty is at stake, that's a big damn deal. And she's putting out tweets fantasizing about him being in jail. That really undermines the credibility. The fact that she owes him $500,000, she, by order of a court, owes Donald Trump $500,000 and said, I will never pay him. I will defy a court order. The defense is going to say she's willing to defy a court order. Why? She's not willing to respect an order of a judge. Why is she going to respect this oath she took?
Yeah, I want to see what that entire panel was saying 2 days ago.
Exactly.
Yes.
I want to see what they were saying right then. You notice one thing there? Not one of them was shaking their head like, yeah, that's a good point. Every time they're saying something negative about Donald Trump, they're like, yeah, right. We all agree. He's a bad guy.
Careful with head shaking. You can be held in contempt.
That's
sent
true.
to jail.
I swear to my breath as well.
And she's just also, she's a bragging lying whore. Bragging about all of her accolades when she was there. It was one big PR stunt, right? All of her accolades, awards. She claimed she had taken home 2 Oscars, 4 Tonys, and 1 Latin Grammy, which, if you're listening on audio, makes no sense. And something else I would like.
Can we show that again? I'm sorry. That's Oscar the Grouch.
Tony the Tiger. There's Tony
Oscar from The Office. Yeah.
I hate us right now.
I'm not proud of it.
No, I think that's prime television.
Here's something I also want you guys to pick. Have you noticed this? Cancel culture isn't as big of a thing anymore. Here's why. And I didn't like the term cancel culture. I don't like gimmickry in general. Whether it's like TradCon, like, what do you mean you're a stay-at-home wife and mom? Why do you have to put on a Betty Bombshell dresses? Let's do away with gimmicks. Cancel culture was just sort of a catchphrase, but you're not seeing it as much. What you're not seeing is people being quote-unquote canceled for saying things that are politically incorrect as much, because people are tired of that. They've sort of caught on and said, yeah, all right, we get it now, and everyone realizes we could all be technically canceled if we're held to this standard. So what do you see? It's a new, I would say, more subversive kind of cancel culture. It's a character assassination through the court of public opinion. That's what's really, really been revved up. It's not Donald Trump said something, right? It used to be, he said grab him by the pussy.
Jesus.
Right? He said that these people are animals, talking about MS-13 members. He said that it hasn't worked. So now they're just going to make up things that he did, even if he didn't do them. And that's what they did, for example. You see it with Trevor Bauer. You see it. They will do it with you. You just see this happening on a national stage. They will do it to the people who they deem to be politically unacceptable. And they'll use it to protect their own classified documents, Standard for Trump, standard for Biden. Rule of law, burden of proof, standard for Trump, standard for Stormy Daniels. It's, well, at this point, we can't just cancel him for saying things because no one really buys it anymore. Let's just say that he had unprotected sex with a porn star who denied it whatsoever and has said that she flagrantly disregards the rule of law and wants to see him in jail and take away his liberty and affect the election. That's where it's changing. So, you can deal with it. It's just don't give it more time. Yeah, if you want to learn the case, okay, fine. If you see a tabloid saying Donald Trump, like, I don't know, likes a feather in his ear, just don't. Who cares? Who cares? Do you have any idea? Have you guys? Someone bring this up. Mission Control. Okay, we'll have this in Mug Club. Do you know the story? I believe it was. I want to say it might have been Nixon. Maybe it was Johnson. It was someone who was congratulating the Gipper, Ronald Reagan, most wholesome president ever, on the night of winning the presidency, right? The night of the election. And the story is they went into the hotel. This was in someone's autobiography. Went into the hotel room where Ronald Reagan and Nancy Reagan were celebrating, and they opened the door, and it was a waft of the aroma of sex. And I don't say this to be perfect. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Like Ronald Reagan and Nancy Reagan had been screwing because he just won the presidency, and everyone went, whoa, blow your hat off. Guess what? Human beings do stuff.
At least it wasn't an intern under his desk.
Exactly. Or they used to say, I don't care what he does I don't care what he does in his own time. At least Donald Trump, let's assume it's true, Donald Trump wasn't actually lying to Stormy Daniels, saying he was in love with her when she was an intern and he's decades older. It would have been a transaction that, by the way, she would have been very accustomed to. I don't care. I don't care anymore.
You always want to do work things, and I'm not at work.
Yes.
Like, have sex.
I don't want to talk about work right now. I'm working all day.
I've been working all day, all day. And all night last night. Yeah.
It's my only skill. So this is what we are living with right now. It's a show trial about a sexual affair that Daniel said never happened. She's already lost in court twice to Donald Trump. She said she would defy the court, not pay the fines to Donald Trump, and yesterday she admitted to extorting Donald Trump. But the media will spend hours on this case pretending the woman has any credibility until it gets to the point of being undeniable, because the new cancel culture is character assassination without proof. You will obey. You will be made to play by their rules. Otherwise, you will be removed from society. Don't play their game. Don't fall for it. And let's move on to international news because we have some House Foreign Affairs Committee. He hosted a hearing regarding the state of democracy. But first, Paulo Figueiredo was one of the key witnesses at the hearing. And I say the word witness, but in this instance, it can be synonym for watch.
Do you believe, sir, that the 2022 elections were in fact free and fair?
I do not.
Do you believe that the Brazilian armed forces then should have acted to support President Bolsonaro's draft decree?
I'm sorry?
Do you believe that the Brazilian armed forces should have acted to overturn the 2022 election results?
I do not.
So even though you don't believe them to have been fair and free, you don't believe that the armed forces, you believe they properly acted in not acting to overturn those results?
Madam Carlos, are you familiar with the report of the military on the elections in Brazil?
I am, yes, but...
So what do you think they should have done when they realized that Brazilian elections
It's
was...
simple. Do you believe that the armed forces acted appropriately?
I do not.
What, you thought you were going to catch this guy? Do you have any idea what's been happening in Brazil? The judge, Marias, we've been talking, has been trying to treat people on social media like they're actual criminals. In Brazil, they're actively trying to criminalize not just hate speech, and that's wrong, that's evil. Critical speech of the government. So I'm very glad to have this man on as a friend to the show, as well as his colleague live from the Rumble Studios, I believe, in Florida.
In D.C.
Oh, in D.C., that's right. They're all over. Mr. Paulo Figueiredo and Mr. Eduardo Bolsonaro, everybody. And for those of you who don't know, Mr. Figueiredo is an award-winning journalist. He's been censored by the Brazilian Supreme Court, and Eduardo Bolsonaro is, yes, son of the former president, President Bolsonaro of Brazil, and he's also a congressman over there.
Sorry,
gentlemen,
guys.
can you hear us here?
Yes, Steve. Very well.
Good. Well,
Loud and clear.
I'm glad to have both of you here. I appreciate it. Mr. Bolsonaro, first, we've heard or saw that your father's in the hospital. I hope everything is okay. And I don't know if there are any updates, but we're all wishing you well here at the studio.
He's getting better.
I've seen the little tiny ones, yeah.
He's getting better. He had a problem with the skin, and he also had a problem.
People use them for tours and stuff too.
Fantastic. Because in 2018,
Air
during his
tours.
campaign, he was stabbed by a former member of the Socialism Liberty Party, which in Brazil is extremely left. Pretty much the same kind of people that talks with Bernie Sanders here in the US. They have a good connection, people from this Socialist and the Liberty Party and Bernie Sanders. And this guy, after he stabbed my father was
Stabbed?
a knife around 15 centimeters inside of his belly, and the guy twisted. So he died because of that. But the doctor says that time after time he can have problems, and maybe sometimes even be needed a surgery. Thanks God in this case it will not be necessary then, because the response for the medicine that he's taking is doing a very good recovery. But that's it. That's it. Thank you.
I'm glad to hear that he's recovered. I want to ask you guys about, first let me set this up for people who may not know, stateside. And the reason this is so important is because this very much mirrors what could happen in the United States. To put a finer point on it, and I want to get some clips here, which I thought were very entertaining from yesterday. We're looking right now in Brazil where there's this Judge Moraes. Am I mistaken, or is he basically trying to prosecute and criminalize not just hate speech, but critical speech of the government, and more importantly, even from journalists and public figures on social media? He wants that to be considered criminal. Do I have that right?
You do. Look, I think the proper word is not prosecute, because he hasn't prosecuted anyone. That's one of his tricks. But persecute, because he doesn't actually open cases. He has an ongoing investigation since 2019 that never actually pressed charges against individuals. This is the same investigation that now Elon Musk is part of it. Michael Schellenberger, U.S. journalist, is part of it as well.
The glass elevator?
So in this investigation, he never presses charges, but he makes decisions. So it is within this investigation that he has been, he tried to arrest journalists now in exile in the U.S., Alan dos Santos, and he had censored me, canceled my passport, froze all my assets. He has been doing, he makes a lot of decisions, but he never pressed charges. So I wish he if you prosecute, you have the right to defend yourself, and we don't.
It's kind of ironic, I guess, to see members of the court in Brazil trying to prosecute through the court of public opinion because they don't actually have confidence in their legal standing. But what's really disappointing to me is the behavior of some of our representatives here, right? Regardless of what happened on the 8th and what Marias is saying, you would think that the persecution of journalists or criminalizing of speech would be something that all Americans could condemn. But instead, we saw some...
Yeah, it's saying you're referring to
I'll play this clip for you. This Congresswoman...
Chocolate factory thing.
Sydney Kamlager-Dove, I hope I have that right, I don't care, trying to press you for some reason to disavow Brazil's dictatorship of the 1980s. Let's show this clip for people who didn't see it.
Do you disavow the military dictatorship that ruled Brazil from 1979 to 1985?
This has nothing to do.
Okay, yes or no, please.
This has nothing to do.
Just yes or no. Reclaim. I can ask. This is my hearing. Yes or no.
With all due respect,
Moving on.
All due respect for the witness, vice versa.
Mr. Chair, vice versa.
So, first question is, what do you believe her goal was here? And second question, how long before you were certain that it wasn't, in fact, the mob?
Well, first of all, I do not have any... Well, first of all, I do not have any respect for... if she respects me as well. She can control my answer. This is exactly what Moraes has been trying to do. And if he didn't, it's not going to be a congresswoman from, I think she's California, right?
Yes.
What a surprise.
She looks like a California raisin.
Yes, she does.
I mean, because of the hair and the flopping around of guitars. Everyone.
I asked you the same. Who cut your hair?
Mr. Chairman, can I ask a question? Who gave her this lady a haircut? He should be prosecuted. He should be criminally charged.
Oh wait, hold on a second. So I just thought it was a break. I have some more, but we're receiving breaking, or at least it's happening today. Hopefully, you guys are aware of this. My producers are just let me know. Gerald said to me that Eduardo Bolsonaro is now under investigation for sharing a media article. Do I have that right?
Yes, I shared an we are having a very serious problem in Brazil, the south of Brazil. We are facing, I think, the biggest floods ever in the history of at least the south of Brazil. And I was sharing from a mainstream media in Brazil. It's like you sharing a news from the CNN. Imagine that.
New York Times, yeah, which is a bad thing. I agree. I think you should stop sharing.
Oh, really? No, I didn't notice that.
Precisely because it took too long to the federal administration.
That's not too far from here.
To the people in the south of Brazil. It took 4 days actually. And then
This guy gonna pass me or not? I'm in the fucking bumpy lane, dude. What are you doing?
In the response of the floods, they are charging me. Now I'm under investigation to spread fake news.
I'm about to be in front of you if you don't fucking
If they really
pass
want to
me.
investigate something about the information, they should go after the mainstream media.
Right.
We do not be perfect as well. The perfect thing is if they start to improve the effective response for the flood, but no, they're stopping everything to coming after us. So you are right, Steve, when you're talking about, it's not all about rates. It started as, let's try to fight against hate speech and fake news and all of that, but now it's everybody who's criticizing Lula da Silva administration. You are under investigation. And we were talking here about Michael Schellenberg, about Elon Musk. Steve, I'm very serious with you. Tomorrow, depending, and according to what we're going to speak here today in your show, you can be tomorrow under investigation in Brazil.
Green? Yeah, that's usually not a good sign.
I know that you don't care.
No, Brazil can get in line. I do care, and this is why I always say, like, we're able to survive this because of Mug Club, because we're actually supported by viewers, right? By people who join Mug Club. I'm scared for other people who aren't. You know, there are people working in an office job where this happens, and they don't have the ability to defend themselves. Yeah, it's terrifying. I want to be really clear because the media will try and say that we blew this out of proportion or misrepresented it. You shared a media article from what would be considered in Brazil a relatively mainstream outlet regarding a slow response to floods, and you are being investigated. I have that right?
Yes, and the thing is, the media should be very concerning about all of that, because if they are going after me, if they want tomorrow, for example, imagine that they don't have money anymore to send to the media, because in Brazil, the Lula administration, they send billions and billions of dollars to the media. Of course. Imagine if tomorrow they don't have this money anymore. They can go after the media and force the media to talk good things about the government.
Right. Yeah.
Because, and control the narrative, because they're trying to kill the social media. Thanks God we still have internet. That's why you are seeing the amount of people that go to the streets in the rallies of my father, Jair Bolsonaro. If you do not have a media, the rallies of my father, for example, in São Paulo 1 month ago, where we had 1 million people on the streets in favor of my father, you would never see that. And this is exactly what they want to do. So you, America, do not think this is an issue about the Brazil, because all of these Brazilian authorities, they are going all over the world. They were last week in London, before they were in New York, and then in Paris.
Echo 620591.
This Brazilian virus
fucking moron.
that is different
And indoctrinated.
from all the virus, the censorship virus that are
Look at this shit. Dude's doing like 5 under the speed limit in the fast lane because he doesn't want to run over some bumps.
If Joe Biden gets re-elected and appoint 1 or 2 more justices of the Supreme Court, and they start to do exactly the same thing that are happening now in Brazil, you, America, what are you going to do? Right? So you have to spread the truth all around the world to avoid this virus. Come here to U.S.
They actually came from, they did come from the U.S. We have been learning that the whole theoretical framework that was used by the Brazilian courts, by Moraes court,
everything came from the United States. So they had meetings with the FBI agents. They had meetings with several Department of Justice agents on learning their tactics to quote unquote combat disinformation, and that's where the ideological framework came from. If you look and see who worked closely with Moraes on his office,
as soon as it smooths out,
pretty much the usual suspects. People funded by George Soros, Open Society, Ford Foundation, Oak Foundation, and this is not a conspiracy theory.
3 J's.
This is public information.
Transportation.
So the virus came from
US
the US,
DOT
from
239
and from
5207.
American NGOs. They're trying to shape.
So now he speeds up too.
Public debate around the world. And of course, you had at the end of it, you had all the top officials of the Biden administration going to Brazil to threaten Brazilian public officials, military leaders, and bureaucrats to not challenge Moraes with threats, with open threats. So
now he's getting 67 miles an hour for me.
Came from the United States. It went to Brazil. It mutated, and it's gonna come back to this variation of the virus. Is gonna come back to bite you. And like a second wave, it's going to come back to bite you in America.
Yeah, no, I agree. You know, it really is. I will say this: I'm still patriotic, but my patriotism has changed in the sense that, you know, I grew up. We had a country that was flawed, but largely, hopefully, we were hoping was exporting the ideals of the Constitution, freedom, and that's not what the United States is exporting right now. They are exporting, unfortunately, corruption and authoritarianism and wokeness. And so my patriotism it lies with what America was, the ideas of America, and unfortunately not what America, the United States of America, is right now. It doesn't mean that I'm not proud to be American. It doesn't mean that I believe anything
by
other. The
mosquitoes
United States of America is the greatest country in the history of the world. That is true. But this is a dark spot, and I don't like that we, for the very first time, in my opinion, are patient zero in a lot of ways, and that's different. And to highlight that, before we go to Mug Club, I'd like to keep you guys on here. I wanted to specifically play this clip because I believe Eduardo tweeted about this exchange, and it was between this congresswoman and Professor Da Silva. How do I pronounce that name? How do I pronounce it?
You did it very well.
Da Silva. Okay, here is the clip.
I think respecting, protecting, strengthening democracy is incredibly important, and I do also agree that we have a real problem with the proliferation of misinformation and disinformation.
Thanks, Congresswoman. I think. Is it a yes or no
It is
question?
not a yes or no question.
Order, please.
So.
Can you repeat the question, Congresswoman?
I just love the smirk. Are you confirmed today? Yeah. Do you know what was said off camera? Because you captioned this with "leftists are the same all over the world." Do you know what was said that people reacted to?
Yeah, because she
was asking me as you played previously. She was just saying, well, everything is a yes or no question when she was questioning me. So I couldn't give her an answer with more than a sentence. That's why we had this interchange. And then she passed to the witness that she was favoring, which was the guy obviously defending censorship. And then he had all the time in the world. She said, well, take your time. It was so funny. The audience.
Everybody's a yes or no question for the guys.
I thought I heard someone say something off camera when there was the look. Like, I don't know if there was something specific that was said.
No, it's because I look at him and said yes or no.
Yes or no.
Yes or no.
Okay,
I look at him and say yes or no. It's like he had to play by the same rules.
Right. No, that's fantastic.
Do you know something interesting is that these left-wing politicians, they are briefed by the left-wing assistants of the politicians in Brazil. So the thing is, they can ask a question. If you return for them with a question, they do not know, because they don't know the stories, they do not know the context. So it's a very funny thing, because they try to show the people that they know what they're talking about, but they don't have idea what they're talking about. Right. Because if you take, for example, Michael Schellenberg is not a Bolsonarist, a right-wing, or a conservative. He interviewed Lula in the past. He
considers himself, I don't know if nowadays he's still considering himself a left-wing journalist, but still, like the censorship is going after him. He's under investigation in Brazil. The system, the establishment do not agree.
Right.
And this is the scenario.
It's terrifying. And I know you guys have a hard out, so I'll let you guys go before we go to Michael, but I want to ask you, you've continually referred to, for people who don't know, you said tomorrow, if what happened, if what transpires tomorrow. Tell people what is going on tomorrow that is of consequence with all this.
You mean tomorrow after the hearing?
Yes.
Or in the U.S.? Well, I think the next steps for the hearing, I made clear ask for the U.S. Congress. I think they have immense power. The U.S. has been, so far in the past few years, a force for evil and censorship in Brazil. And I think the U.S. needs to become again a force for freedom and democracy. And so the first thing they can do is do what you're doing here now, Stephen. You're creating awareness. The problem is that most of the media, the mainstream media, they don't even cover it. They try to pretend it never happened. So having hearings and having the congressman going to Brazil and having what the Judiciary Committee has done, releasing Brazilian courts, public documents, so the public can know what's going on in Brazil is one key. The second key is the U.S. Congress controls the funds, and it funds Brazil tremendously with taxpayers' money. It also funds organizations like the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights that should be working on this to avoid these human rights violations. So the American taxpayer is funding the censorship of Brazil, and this shouldn't happen. The third is they need to exercise the oversight power on the Biden administration. Why is the Biden administration supporting Moraes and Lula, a regime that's pro-Hamas, pro-Venezuela, pro-Cuba, definitely pro-China, pro-Iran? Why does the Biden administration, is almost like they hate America and they want someone to hate America, ruling the most important country in South America? But the next step would be Congress can produce a legislation like they have many in place that really creates sanctions against the Eduardo, of course, doesn't like this, but I'm a journalist, I'm not a congressman, I can say, that creates sanctions against the Brazilian government and Brazilian public officials who violate human rights. It's not a political thing. Is if you're violating journalists' rights, if you're violating parliamentarians' rights, congressmen' rights, parliamentary immunity, if you're throwing people in jail without due process, you need to suffer consequences. And that alone will create enormous pressures, and I think our institutions will be able to act and restore our freedoms. Brazil is a peaceful country, although we're very good in jiu-jitsu, as you know.
Yes, I know. Although I know that it pains you to no end that the greatest no-gi grappler of all time is a very cocky American. And it's not even close. It's not even close, and you know it.
Well, I'll dispute that.
Well, in the gi...
You've been finding excuses to not go on the mat with me. Oh, my back hurts. And I heard all that before.
I had points my titanium ribcage. I will say this.
Yeah, okay. I have 3 herniated discs, so let's roll.
I will say this. Hodger Gracie in the gi, he's a Michael Jordan. No-gi Gordon. Ryan, come on, we got it. We got to do that. I mean, Americans take what Brazil created and, they made it better.
Let's agree to disagree.
No, I'm correct. But Gerald had one final question here because I know you guys are out of time on it. I appreciate you taking it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I noticed that you guys are in the Rumble studio up there in D.C. We talked about that a second ago. I know Chris was also in front of Congress testifying on censorship. I know X has been removed, and Rumble is now removed out of Brazil. YouTube's still available, though, right?
X not removed yet.
Not removed yet, but in the process of potentially. Yeah.
Well, so what happened was that Elon Musk promised he was going to lift the sanctions, the restrictions in Brazil, but so far he hasn't made good of his promise. So he didn't lift any sanctions. Brazil, I still heavily sanctioned in Brazil. He actually increased the sanctions by the order of the court after what he said. So we're still waiting on Elon Musk to actually do something. The moment he does,
wow, okay.
From Brazil.
Yeah. And then I'll give you back in the question if I.
Yeah, over some stupid shit. Wasn't he the passenger of the vehicle?
It looks like this for Brazilian.
Because he wouldn't identify.
Banning some U.S. companies there. Let's go to do the same here in U.S. and you start a trade war.
Or is it because he wouldn't get out of the car?
This is something that the Brazilian authorities, they're concerned.
They saw who he was and they were like, we got him.
He can get elected and change.
Yeah, I was listening to Forensic Code was watching it.
Inertia of the Biden administration and this fact to act in favor of the American.
Yeah, she got a ticket for no headlights on.
Let's see what happened.
Yeah, and I think Gerald's final part of the question was YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, right? They're fine.
They're all compliant.
They're
fine.
Of course they are.
That was straight up retaliatory.
If you, and I said that in my testimony.
Was that Fort Worth again?
What's going on in Brazil and the U.S.? Please read the Judiciary Committee on the House report on the censorship industrial complex. The email exchange between the Biden administration officials and the guys from YouTube, Meta, and all the social media companies, they were aligned.
Yes.
They were aiming to please. In Brazil, the theoretical framework is the same. The difference is that Verizon didn't have to informally come to an agreement with social media company. He just ordered them, do whatever I'm saying, otherwise I'll happily fine you or disconnect you from the country. But the ideas and the requests are actually the same because, like I said, it came from the U.S. It came from the Atlantic Council. It came from the FBI deep state.
Oh, look at this guy.
It came from the Department of Justice agency. It came from
Just smacking the.
Yeah, the people of Brazil deserve a lot better, and not only from their own government, but you know what? You're right. They deserve a lot better from the shining city on a hill that is the United States of America, and we have not done right by you. So I can only apologize on behalf of myself for not being able to do more about it. But if people want to do more about it, where can they support you? Follow you guys because that's an active step.
Well, I'm on X. My X publications are usually in English since they can be seen from Brazil. You can look me up. Rio Figueiredo. It's Figueiredo, and Eduardo Bolsonaro is also
Bolsonaro. Usually Bolsonaro SP. Bolsonaro SP is almost all of my social media.
Okay. Well, very good. I appreciate you guys taking the time. Please do keep us updated.
Yeah,
and,
like people know how to spell Bolsonaro.
To get to there in Washington D.C. Be well.
Thanks for having us.
Bolsonaro and Figueiredo, everybody.
Well, just like it sounds, Bolsonaro.
Paulo Figueiredo. Eduardo Bolsonaro's way to say Bolsonaro and Figueiredo. It sounds like the odd couple.
The odd Brazilian couple.
He's Bolsonaro. He's Figueiredo.
No, I love what those guys are doing, and I know I didn't really have a question. I was basically making a point.
Yes.
Like with Meta, Facebook, all this stuff. Like these companies, Google, YouTube, they don't have our best interests at heart. Like they could basically, if you were those companies right now, you could get together and be like, look, we don't like each other. We're competitors in this space, but what they're doing here is absolutely wrong and will lead to the deaths of probably millions of people if the dictatorship is set up as effective as they want it to be. Let's all tell them to go to hell when they tell us to ban this kind of content. They can't get rid of all of us. Right. And if they do, then that is a much bigger international story and more pressure can be brought. But no, what they do is they say, yes, sir, we'll toe the line for you. You have to get rid of those guys. Those guys over there, they're the problem.
Well, let's talk about this more on Mug Club because Rumble, the CEO, Chris Pavlovsky, just talked about this. They've also now been banned from Russia.
Yeah.
Which is surprising considering how the French government banned them for not banning Russian media from Rumble. Hey, the consistency. Do you hear that? Isn't that a wonderful thing? You don't have to agree with what people say so long as you agree with the terms that people can say it. So if you click that button right there, you can enter in the promo code military, $10 off, 10% to military charities because it is Military Appreciation Month. We are going to continue right now on Mug Club. And for those of you who are not there, hey, you can continue watching for free every day, unless you're on YouTube, in which case, miss out.
Please turn. Oh, no signal. Nice. Like an asshole.
For the record, I am not a sexual predator.
Waited all show to say that.
I mean, like, you know, driven is what I was trying to say. I think it came out wrong.
I mean, that's funny. I went to Boy Scouts and I didn't get diddled at all.
Neither did I. I went to Boy Scouts once. I think I went like one time. And I was like, you know, it was kind of cool. Like, you get to do fun stuff. You know, like, you get to go out in, you know, the woods inside and go do one of those. I went to one that was, like, pretty boring, kind of just sitting in there talking about stuff. And I was just like, it's not for me. I play, like, all the sports.
You were about 6 weeks from getting diddled, I think.
Yeah, I was definitely on the hit list.
No, we went outside, did all the
It's fun.
Normal. It's just like an activity place.
Yeah, exactly. Until they let you know the
Whoa, dude.
Idiot.
Gay guys
can't control themselves. That's the thing.
Are the catalyst in ruining Boy Scouts, is what you're saying.
Yeah, yes.
Boys in general.
Well, it's true. I mean, my wife and I are incredibly protective of our sons. Yeah. And we are even protective in the relatively safe places that we choose to allow them to be in without us. And that's very few places because they're very young, right?
Ronald Reagan, most wholesome president ever, on the night of winning the presidency, right? The night of the...
I can't imagine a world where I'm like, yeah, we'll see what happens. It's probably going to be fine.
Yeah, come on.
There's no way that I would allow
He has to grow up sometime. It's called being an adult, son.
You give him a knife and you tell him to just throw it in his thigh and twist like in Face Off. It's like,
the world's not all sunshine and lollipops. Growing up means you're going to have to do things sometimes that you don't exactly want to do. Like going into the woods with a strange gay man and no one around to hear your screams.
Yes. What do you want to get your shooting badge? Fine.
Now take your two-person sleeping bag and get out of my living room.
But technically it's not two, you zip them together. But
it just doesn't make any sense to me. So yes, I hope that the Boy Scouts organization dies. I hope the entire organization crumbles and is ashes that we can all piss on later.
Yes?
I'm sorry, it really pisses me off that this place exists like it is today. It should go away. Something else should come up. Maybe I think another organization was started. I don't know if anything has really gained a lot of traction though, when this was all a big deal that this was happening.
Fags in the Woods of America?
Well, they're more of like an affiliate of the Boy Scouts, not necessarily a competitor.
Do you know what their merit badge is? Strip sodomy.
Well, one could see that.
They have 90 of them.
Dad, I got my first sodomy badge.
They're all the same badge. What's next? Sodomy 2. What?
89 to go.
Should we go with our RTC? I mean, did Girl Scouts become both Scouts? Did they change that, or is it just Boy Scouts?
Girl Scouts should have to go away. I mean, because really, if we're
is Girl Scouts still a thing? Is my question.
No, I understand.
It is. I don't think boys are allowed to join it.
Well, unless they identify
as girls.
I don't know. They might still be living in the past.
Yes. Live in the past where Girl Scouts
just can't wait.
Primarily,
what do you got?
Girls.
So the first thing I looked up was alternatives to Boy Scouts, and the U.S. Naval Sea Cadets came up, and I can't imagine a gayer place for your kids.
Hello, sailors!
It's just like it's all gay for the kids. For the kids.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand this.
I hope I don't have that stomach bug going around the office.
Did you just go throw up?
No, I didn't go throw up. I just got, I may. All right.
Don't.
I'm getting a little queasy. Doing my, I'm doing my best.
You think
the room is moving like a...
You want this trash can?
It's doing this for everybody, right? Okay.
No, I think you're the only sea cadet. But do you want this? This trash can?
Speaking of, no. I'm gonna muscle through this. Speaking of the whole sea cadet thing, I don't know how this is relevant. Did they find the Nancy and Ronald Reagan anecdote?
That I don't know. I know we had a clip, a couple of clips that we could play. Did we? He had something about the article that he was sharing as well.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you want to.
I was in the bathroom, so what happened?
We didn't show it yet.
Oh, the article that Bolsonaro shared?
That he tweeted.
Yeah. He tweeted out, so we have that if you want to show that.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, it's very basic. It was just this news story. You can see up top they reposted it, but it translates to Globo says it's fake news, but SBT shows the video with truck drivers being fined. Seems like something to be investigated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, it does.
Jeez.
Can you imagine if the government like not even this is different. The judicial, the government can be kind of held in check by the judicial system here, right? So you can go to the court system and go, wait a minute, they did something they shouldn't have been doing. Now I know we're seeing a bunch of crap with Donald Trump.
Well, hemp doesn't make you high, so I don't.
Warm and fuzzy inside about it.
Well, it doesn't make people
there,
high,
it's
so I don't.
The judiciary is
understand
the
that.
one doing it.
Yeah.
Like the people that are put in place to protect you from the government theoretically, and from being taken advantage of by anybody.
There's no THC in
especially the government. Like they're the ones doing it. That is
very minimal.
See, at first I thought it was the Jews.
Well, no space lasers in this story.
No, well, but they, don't they run all the things?
Not in Brazil. It's different. South America was more where the.
Or if they have papers.
That's true. There's a Nazi tinge in Brazil.
Yeah.
Let me know if you guys find it. It was either Lyndon Johnson, it was Nixon. It was someone who was there to congratulate Ronald Reagan on the night that he won the presidency with Nancy Reagan in that hotel room. He wrote about it.
I smell sex in Nancy.
Brill cream is all in my hair.
Who's that Ouija board on
the stairs? It's a 2-bedroom. Mama said, I'm gonna bang Nancy. Yeah. She was crazy. She had Ouija boards and all that shit. Nancy Reagan. Yeah, she was out of her mind.
A little bit.
But she, she was a good first lady. She didn't try and Hillary Clinton it and come in and be like, I'm going to tell you how to run things. Shut up.
She didn't have a penis.
No, she didn't. She also wasn't a lesbian, like Hillary Clinton. So.
Wow, nice parking job, whoever the fuck
that's
this
not a conspiracy anymore, right? People have all accept that she's a lesbian.
Wasn't it with is it Huma?
Huma.
Yeah, everybody thought that?
Yeah.
That seems reasonable.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
No, not the pantsuit lady.
No, Huma was Anthony Weiner's.
Look at this shit.
Yeah.
Taking up both visitor spots.
No, not the pantsuit.
Not the pantsuit lady who clearly never slept with Bill Clinton. Well, once. I'm still not convinced that it wasn't like a beaker. All
right, guys.
Rumble is.
I may go live. I don't know.
They've been banned.
It's gonna be one of them days. I will be on my drive all the way down to Green Springs once I get down here.
Russia has officially blocked Rumble because we
See you guys in a bit.
comply with their censorship demands.
Love you guys.
Now, keep in mind what's interesting about this.
See
is
you later.
The government of France